And so today's journey begins. I'm here in Cleveland, Ohio, and today we're doing the filming locations for one of my all-time favorite movies. Let's get into it. Welcome everybody to Jordan's Film Quest. Today's adventure brings me to Cleveland, Ohio. As you can see the skyline right there in the background. I'm doing the filming locations for one of my all-time favorite Marvel movies, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. I'm a little bit unbiased though, because that movie was filmed here in Cleveland, and that might be part of the reason why I like it so much. However, that movie was split between Washington, D.C. and Cleveland here, much like the Avengers 2012 movie, where Cleveland stood in for Stuttgart, Germany, and New York. Cleveland here stood in for Washington, D.C. Now there are a ton of filming locations spread out Cleveland here, and I'm going to try and cover as much as I possibly can. Unfortunately, this weekend I was supposed to be in Washington, D.C. doing those locations. Due to unforeseen circumstances, I didn't go. However, I'm not saying that I won't do those locations in the future, because I probably will. One day I will do those locations. But for today, this video is all about Cleveland's locations. Without further ado, let's go check out filming locations here in Cleveland, Ohio. Now, before we get started, does anybody want to stop watching? Let's do it. All right, so here I am at the first location. Does this look like S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters? No. However, this is the first stop on the Captain America tour, if you will. This is the Cleveland Museum of Art. We're gonna go in and check out this location. Let's go. As I approach the building, I can't help but to think it kind of does have that S.H.I.E.L.D. look, but there is no Triskelion in here. There is no giant building that is attached to this place. It's just a museum. All right, so here we go. We're gonna go in. All right, so here we are, ladies and gentlemen. I give you S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters. Does this look familiar to you? It might now. So this is ground level of S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters, and this is kind of like the shot that you see of the people walking around here, and then the giant S.H.I.E.L.D. statue logo thing is right here in the middle. Can't really get the exact shot I want, but this is pretty much close enough right here, because that little walkway, entranceway is seen in the shot, and these stairs can be seen in this shot as well. So later, when Cap finds out the S.H.I.E.L.D. is compromised by the Hydra agents, that famous elevator scene would have taken place way up there. And if you notice, there is no building there. It was all CGI. I'm not entirely sure how they got the effects of him falling, but in the film, there is a huge building right here, but now there's nothing but sky. He fights off Rumlow and the Hydra agents, and he's like, so before we get started, does anyone want to get out? Then he kicks everybody's ass. It's awesome. And then he goes down to a couple floors, and then he gets stopped by some more agents, cuts the cord, and then he jumps out of the elevator window, coming crashing through these windows here. And I'll show you right over here where he would have fallen at. And one way you can tell it's this location is because of this little store entranceway right here can be seen in the background. And they had benches set up outside, but it's a glass door, glass windows right there can be seen in the background, because you can see that corner of that wall inside. So Cap would have fallen probably somewhere in this general area. That's a long way down and a long way up. crazy I'm standing in S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters, aka Hydra headquarters. Hail Hydra. So when Cap comes crashing through the ceiling right here, he would have fallen, and then as Jasper Sitwell is watching him crash through the ceiling, Cap gets up and he runs off into that direction. I think there's like a couple little stores right there where you can buy some knickknacks and whatnot. I'm not sure. I want to say there's a scene right here, just like this, of Alexander Pierce walking with the council before he finds out that one of them is Agent Romanov, disguised with that face technology thing. They stop about halfway because this little walkway that way can be seen as well. He stops and he makes him put on that little microchip thing that later come to find out it's a thing that can shock you. So that would have happened right here, taken place right here, right inside this lobby. This is a huge atrium. Welcome to the Tremont District here in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm in the parking lot of the Pilgrim Congregational Church. This is the church where they filmed Sam Wilson's support group. We're gonna go in and see if anything has changed since the movie was filmed here. Let's go. All right, so here I am inside of the church where Sam had his support group, and it doesn't look like much has changed since then. I'm gonna try and line up some shots here. So the scene starts just like this, and we see the back of Cap walking right over here where Sam is having his support group, and Cap leans up against this pillar here, and there's a shot just like this that can be seen, and these windows on the top are still visible, but I'm pretty sure that they had painted all this for filming. And as Cap is watching Sam, there's a shot just like this that he can be seen standing at a podium, and this room, these doors are still open in the shot, and he would have been standing right about here, and all of his fellow supporters would have been sitting right here in this general area. How cool is this? So after the support group meeting, Sam is saying, "I'll see you next week," to one of his supporters. And he comes over to a table that's right here, and Steve walks up and he goes, "The last few minutes were intense." And they start talking about guilt and regret, and it's just crazy to be standing here knowing this is where Captain America stood, and that's where we kind of learn a little bit about Sam. But check this out. They even have a photo and a little card on the wall because that movie was filmed here. How cool is that? So that scene would have taken place right here, just like this, because this water fountain can be seen in the background, but that door was open at the time because people were going in and out. But yeah, this is so cool. I want to send out a thank you to the folks here at the Pilgrim Congregational Church for allowing me to come in today and film Sam Wilson's support group area. That was one of the coolest things that I have ever been able to film. So a huge thank you to the folks here at the church. All right. Alright, so I'm still hanging around the Tremont district here. We're at the next location. I found Sam Wilson's house after Steve and Natasha are on the run and they pretty much get blown up. This is where Sam Wilson lives, where they come to lay low. So here I am filming somebody's house again. I'm gonna walk down this alleyway and show you that this is the exact house that it was filmed, and I can't match anything up because this is somebody's property and I'm not gonna trespass, but I found the exact back door where they were at. So there is one way that you can tell that this is the actual alleyway is when Sam opens the door and sees that it's Steve and Natasha. You can see the top of this shed, this house, and there's still trash cans lined up right here. And I'm going to turn around, I'm going to show you the door that they go in right there, and they still have the blinds in the door. Well, I'm sure they've changed it by then, but that right there would be the door that Sam and Natasha and Steve all meet at, trying to lay low. How cool is this? Again, it's weird filming somebody's house, but I figured this would be in like a different area in Cleveland. This is Tremont, so it's kind of in a nicer area, right up the road from the church where I just was. But yeah, this is the exact location. I'm sorry I can't pinpoint anything, but I'll throw in a screen grab and you can see that all of this stuff is still here. I mean, obviously it's been redone, but this is the exact area. All right, so here I am chilling on a bench in the middle of Cleveland Heights. This is a really nice area. Two things. One, there is some lawn mowing going on, so you're probably gonna hear that. And two, unfortunately, this location was all shot indoors and there's no outdoor shots that I can't show you. But this is the scene of Peggy Carter's house where Steve comes to visit her. And I'm pretty sure she has Alzheimer's or dementia, because she's like, Steve, oh my God, you came back. And he goes, yeah, well, I couldn't do it without one last dance from my girl. Like I said, can't get into this location. And it's kind of a huge house, which I'm actually not really all that surprised. But this is the actual location where they filmed. You can go online and look it up. It is a credible source that this is the actual location of Peggy Carter's house. Let's check it out. Again, don't mind the weed eaters. There's like a dozen people out here weed eating. But this is the house of Peggy Carter right here. How cool is this? So there was a guy pulling out of the driveway and I stopped him to what I thought was one of the owners. But from what I took it, he's worked here for 4 years. I don't know if that means he's like done yard work or he's like actually worked in this house or he owns it. I'm not entirely sure, but he claims that he doesn't know anything about that movie filmed here, but that movie was filmed in 2013 and released in 2014. So obviously he might not know anything about it, but the previous owners might have. But according to online, this is where Peggy Carter lived. Okay, so for this next location, I'm here at the Western Reserve Historical Society, the Cleveland History Center, and this is the scene from the movie where Cap comes to learn about himself, the stuff that he had did in the previous wars. He finds his old motorcycle, his old uniforms, and even finds a little section about James Buchanan Barnes, Bucky. We're gonna go in and check out this location and see if we can't pinpoint and match some things up while we're in there. So let's go in and check it out. Yeah, the Crawford Auto Aviation Collection is where we want to go. Hey. All right, so here we are inside of the museum. Let's go look around, find some cool stuff while we're searching for the location right here in the museum. All right, so as I'm walking around the museum here, I'm trying to match up some shots. I did speak to one of the staff members about if they knew anything about that movie being filmed here, and they pointed me in this general direction, and they said that this big open area right here is where some of the displays were. Now, being that this movie was split between Washington and Cleveland, there were some actual shots of the Air and Aviation Museum at the Smithsonian. So when you see him walking through the hallways and seeing all those displays and stuff, he does in fact come here though. And here's another fun fact. The kid that's standing there looking at Captain America, and Cap does like a little whisper kind of thing, like, shh, don't tell anybody. That kid is Joe Russo's son. He has directed multiple Marvel movies, and he even makes a cameo in the film later on when I think it's Natasha gets shot by the Winter Soldier. But that scene with the kid took place right here. There was 2 displays that you could stand next to Captain America and like compare your size, and this window can be seen in the shot as well, along with this pillar. So that means that Cap's suits and Bucky's suits would have been right here in this general spot. Now, it's crazy to think that none of this can be seen in the shot. It's so dark, and they have it so well done that you wouldn't even have known that any of this stuff was here. Because if you look, there's literally cars, there's planes, motorcycles. So I don't believe that any of the hallway shots were filmed here in this building. Just the one of him standing there looking at a haul of his suits and seeing that kid. Now, we're gonna skip forward a little bit. Rest in peace to Stan Lee, but this is also the same exact spot where Stan Lee walks up right here, pauses, sees that Steve's uniform is gone, and he goes, oh man, I am so fired. Rest in peace, Stan Lee. But those entire scenes were filmed right here in this general area. All right, so that was the Steve Rogers Memorial Museum, if you will. If you want to go in, admission is $15, and they give you this little sticker to put on as you walk around, but it's totally worth seeing. There's a lot of cool history stuff there, especially those old cars. So now we're gonna go downtown Cleveland and check out some of the stuff that's filmed down there. Let's go. This is the Tower City Center. This is the mall scene in the Winter Soldier film where Cap and Natasha take the flash drive to an Apple store. Let's go in, check it out. And here we go. Now, I've been to this mall dozens of times, and every time I come up these escalators here, it still blows my mind, and I wanted you guys to witness it as well as to what the mall looks like from the film. Welcome to Tower City Center. So this is a bird's eye view. I'm on the 3rd floor here of the mall, and unfortunately things have changed since the filming of that movie. All of what you see, these grass things, these planters, all that stuff, all this is new. And in the film, that was just a water fountain. That is the water fountain that Steve and Natasha walk past when they're trying to get their way to the Apple store. And in the film, it made it look like they come up the escalators where I was just at, but it's like a lower shot at their feet, and they're walking this way. Because these stores down here can be seen in the shot as well. I just wanted to get this bird's eye view so you guys get kind of what it looks like from up top. So when Rumlow and the Hydra agents are searching for Steve and Natasha, they're walking around the floors here, and there used to be a rainbow store. This store right there said rainbow in black, and that can be seen in the shot when they say clear on 3, clear on 2. At first it shows the people up top there walking across, and then the rainbow store, and then Rumlow says snake the upper levels, work your way down to me. Okay, so here we are at ground level. Hope I don't get flagged for the music that's playing in the background. This is right where Steve and Natasha walked. It shows their feet, and there's people sitting on the side of the fountain right here. So unfortunately there was no shots of them walking this way, but it was right through here. Super quick shot. Now we're gonna go see if we can find the Apple store. Is it there? I don't know. We're about to find out. So here is a little bit of bad news. The Apple store does not exist in this mall. That Apple store was filmed, I want to say, in San Diego. However, after Steve and Natasha are trying to find out what's on that flash drive, they come walking from this direction around that corner, and check this out. This is exactly where they walk. And they're talking about the standard tag team style, 2 behind, 2 across. This little archway can be seen in the background as well. So as Steve thinks they're gonna be confronted by the Hydra agents, Natasha says, shut up and put your arm around me and act like something's funny. He's like, what? She said, just do it. So then it cuts to them walking this way. These casino signs can be seen in the background, and the Hydra agents are walking this way, and Steve and Natasha are walking that way. And they end up getting away. So here is the escalator where the famous Natasha-Steve kiss happens. We're gonna go all the way down. And then Natasha sees Rumlow come up this way. And she's like, public displays of affection make people very uncomfortable. Steve says, yes, it does. And she says, kiss me. And they kiss. Rumlow looks away. And it's kind of like a shot like that going up. We'll go back up here in a second. First, let's get down. So this is the bottom of the escalators here. This is the scene where Rumlow says, snake the upper levels, work your way down to me. You can totally see this little circular thing on the pillar there. And he makes his way up the escalators here. And this is the point of view that Rumlow has going up the escalators. And about halfway, it was way brighter than this in the film. But about halfway, right where I'm at, is where Steve and Natasha kiss, because you could see these lights in the background and these little pillar things here with the lights on them. So yeah, that entire scene shot right here on these escalators. Very cool. I'm gonna do the downtown Cleveland filming locations for the movie. The one that I'm about to show you, you might recognize. I had to go to this location before for the Avengers 2012 locations. However, I do believe that the scene filmed for the movie was filmed in the basement, but I'm going to show you what the exteriors of this place looks like. It might look familiar. Check this out. Okay, don't mind the giant detour signs right here, but this building served as a shelter, I guess, something, I don't know, for the reboot of the Winter Soldier. When he feels like he recognizes who Steve is, well, obviously they know each other. However, I read online that that particular scene was filmed in the basement. Now, if you want to go back to 2012 for the Avengers, this is where one of the bank scenes was filmed. Like I said, I don't think any other scenes from the Winter Soldier was filmed here, and like I read online that that scene was filmed in the basement. There could be a basement, I really don't know. I really don't want to walk all the way over there and check it out because there's tons of construction going on and I don't have a lot of time. All right, so here I am on the corner of East 6th and Superior. Now, as I had mentioned before, Nick Fury's driving scenes, there was a bunch of sequences, and there was one point where he actually came down this road. You could see these awnings as he's driving, and then when it cuts to a different scene, he's driving this way going down that road. And just down this way is another location. I'll walk down there and check it out. Okay, right there is the Drury Plaza Hotel. Now right here at this intersection might look awfully familiar. I'm gonna try and get out to the center of the road and line up this shot while I can, while there's no cars coming. But this is the Wanna See My Lease intersection. Yeah, there's a car going, I had to move. So when Nick Fury stops right where that car was, he tells the cops, "You want to see my lease?" Then they blare their siren and then they take off, and then cars come from this road, and back from there, and they pin Fury down right here against these little guard things, if you will. And then his window integrity gets compromised, and those agents bring out that pulverizer thing, if you will. I don't know what it's called, but as soon as the window integrity fails, the machine gun pops up from his center console and he starts shooting everybody. And it's just crazy to think that entire scene took place right here at this intersection. And eventually he ends up getting away. Full access, or full acceleration, he says. He speeds off, takes off that way, and eventually he goes down the next road that way. So yeah, I'll walk around here, see if I can find another location. Okay, so here I am on the corner of East 3rd and Superior. Now during the driving sequences, when Nick Fury is trying to go off the grid, at one point he's going this way, and then in another scene he's coming this way. So while the coast is kind of somewhat clear, I'm gonna run out to the middle of the road and get this shot while I can. Here we go. So Nick Fury comes driving down this side of the road right here, and he goes, "Get me off the grid." And right there in the middle of the road is where the Winter Soldier is walking with his magnetic bomb, if you will, and he blows up Nick Fury's truck, sending him flipping flipping over and crashing these dang buses. Hang on. He rolls past the Winter Soldier right over there near that entrance of that parking garage. So the Winter Soldier would have been standing somewhat near this sewer crate. And there's a shot sort of like this. Where he's seen shooting his magnetic bomb or whatever it is that he shoots. And then Fury sees him coming after him, pulls something out of his glove box or whatever it is, and then that's when Nick Fury disappears into the ground. Technically goes off the grid. And we don't see Nick Fury again for quite some time throughout the movie. But yeah, this is another one of the locations. Okay, I'm getting exhausted. I'm literally walking around downtown Cleveland here. I'm at the next location. There's an action scene in the movie. Let's check out this location. First Energy Stadium, home of the Cleveland Browns, and just over the horizon, the very tip of that white square building is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Is what Cleveland is mostly known for, aside from the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Cleveland Indians, recently renamed the Cleveland Guardians. Sorry, I digress. Back to filming locations. This bridge right here is the bridge that Steve, Natasha, Sam, and Jasper Sitwell were driving along in the car when the Winter Soldier pops up and throws Jasper Sitwell out of the car, and he takes Sam's steering wheel. There's a whole big action sequence right here on this bridge. It's actually a pretty low bridge considering it's literally right here going through town. So Steve takes off, Natasha takes off fighting the Winter Soldier, and Sam says, "You guys go, I got this," and he's still on the bridge right there. And I'm not gonna walk out in the middle of traffic to get the shot that I want of the Winter Soldier jumping from the bridge, but it's right there. And we're gonna walk up this street because there are some other spots where they were filming at as well. So there would have been a turned over bus right here, and Steve runs through it while the guy on top of the car is shooting a really big machine gun. And Steve runs out of the bus, the back of it, runs up to the guy with the machine gun, kicks his ass, and he stops. And then that's when the Winter Soldier jumps down and starts walking up this way with his machine gun and grenade launcher and starts blowing up cars. We're gonna take a walk up here and check out the two other fighting shots that happened right here on this road. This is Lakeside, and I can't see the other sign, but it's literally right here on Lakeside Road, right next to the Judicial Building, I think. But right there is Lake Erie. But like I said before, the Winter Soldier walks up this road, and this building can be seen in the shot because these little tubes on this side of the building can also be seen in the background. And he's chasing down Steve and Natasha, and while Steve is doing his thing, he goes after Natasha. He walks right over here to this road. Now there's people running everywhere, there was cars parked everywhere, everybody was running scared. And the Winter Soldier hears something, pulls something out of his back pocket, and rolls it across the road. Right there. And that's where it's a phone playing a voice. And that's where it blows up. And out of nowhere, Natasha comes running from this direction, jumps on the back of him. She tries to strangle him with some kind of string or barbed wire, not barbed wire, but fiber wire maybe, I don't know. But at the same time, Steve is still out doing his thing. But when the Winter Soldier is looking for Natasha, this building is seen in the background as well. So we're definitely in the right location. All right, so here I am across the street. I was literally just over there. So I walked over here, and here is the fight sequence between Steve and the Winter Soldier. Now, the Winter Soldier shoots Natasha, and like in the shoulder, and she runs away, and she hides behind a car that's like right here in this general area, and he's about to finish her off, and Steve comes to the rescue. This building can be seen in the background as well. So Steve and the Winter Soldier duke it out right here in this general area, right here on this street. And I think it's probably one of the best fighting sequences of the entire MCU. Like, not just because it's them, like, as old best friends, but it's the way that the Winter Soldier, like, messes with his knife and uses his knife throughout the entire fight. And then the Winter Soldier stands probably right about there, and there's a shot kind of like this. I'm not going to go out in the middle of the road, but Steve looks back after he rips the mask off, and he sees that it's Bucky. He goes, "Bucky?" The Winter Soldier says, "Who the hell is Bucky?" So yeah, really cool that that entire fighting scene was shot right here. And this is West 3rd at Lakeside. West 3rd at West Lakeside, I mean. All right, so here I am for one of the final stops. I'm at the Lakeview Cemetery here in Cleveland, Ohio. There are 2 locations that were filmed here. Both are kind of hard to find, so I'm going to try and explain how to find them. Let's check it out. All right, so for this specific location here at the Lakeview Cemetery, I'm at the dam where Agent Marie Hill saves Steve, Nat, and Sam. Let's check it out. So this is the dam where they go to hide out. This is cool. However, the door over here kind of looks the same as well. Now, when they get into this little bunker hideaway thing, the doctor that comes to help them is actually director Joe Russo, who has, again, directed multiple Marvel movies. How cool is that? This is really crazy to actually be here in this location. I really wish I had a drone, but there is also a scene later on in the film where Sam and Steve are on this walkway up here, and Steve says, "You can't fight a war without a uniform." That whole speech. And I believe he walks off this way because it shows like some trees and stuff. Like he's walking into a tree line, and over here, there's just a wall. So both of those scenes filmed right here in this little dam area. So for this specific location, it took me a second to find, but if anybody wants to come visit, the best way to do it is to look for section 10, the Junud Way sign, and this one-way sign. Now, we're gonna go across the street. This is the grave of Nick Fury. Like I said, it took me probably a good 20 minutes to figure out where exactly this specific location. And I'm gonna show you guys some spots that way, some markers if anybody gets lost for future references. Harkness headstone here, and this Sanford statue, and Nick Fury's headstone would have been right over here. Right in this empty spot. There was 2 headstones here, and you could tell because in the shot you can see this headstone and this one is flat as that one's up, and there's 2 headstones here. In the film it kind of pans around this headstone like this, and it shows Steve standing there with Sam, and Nick Fury walks up and he says he needs a man to go on another mission, and Steve says no, there's something he has to take care of first. Then he asks Sam, and Sam said he's more of a soldier than a spy. And then Nick Fury says, well, if anyone asks, you can tell them that I'm right here. And he points down to the headstone. And it's crazy because I don't know who the other headstone was, but there was 2 of them right here. And one way you know that it's this correct location is this branch right here. It kind of like arches up in a way. So yeah. After Nick Fury walks away, Natasha Romanoff walks up and says, you should be honored. That's as close as he gets to saying thank you. And Steve says, you're not going with him? And she says, no, she's blown way too many covers. That shot of her walking is like this. Now in the shot, they actually added some extra headstones because you can see there's kind of an open space here. And in the shot, they added some extra headstones. And then that, my friends, is where Steve is handed a folder that he is to not pull on that thread, to be careful, from Natasha, as it is a folder about the Winter Soldier, his old best friend, James Buchanan Barnes, Bucky. It's crazy that all of that took place right here. All right, my friends, that is going to be a wrap on Captain America, the Winter Soldier filming locations right here in Cleveland, Ohio. I tried to hit as many locations as I could. Unfortunately, some were inside buildings that I couldn't get into, and the whole 9. But yeah, this was a lot of fun to actually thoroughly go through and do all these locations. So if you guys enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, comment, share, let me know what you think. I'll see you guys next time on Jordan's Film Quest.